Usually in videos, I'll talk about a character, or in my last one I talked about drip. This one I'm gonna kinda talk about characters, but more so about their interaction in this really clean fight, which takes place in part 5. And I thought this fight that happened between Risotto and Doppio slash Diavolo was a really clean fight. I thought it was an amazing fight for multiple different reasons. The first reason that I'm going to say is the most obvious reason, and that is because of the brutality and the gore of the fight. Now, the gore in this fight and brutality and disgusting, just bloody mess is amazing. It is so awesome in this fight. Seeing Doppio rip out scissors from his neck is ridiculous. Getting legs and their foot chopped right off and basically stapled back on to their leg is ridiculous. Doppio throwing up razor blades from his throat is disgusting. It is actually disgusting. And then on top of that, there's a lot of blood, but I remember they were talking about how, like, because Risotto's stand is like he can manipulate iron from your blood into like weapons, kind of. And what he would do is he would just strip your iron, and they said that without your iron, your blood would turn yellow. I don't know if that's true. It could be. Maybe, might be. I think it's true. I'm gonna take their word for it. So his blood was like yellow, but it wasn't just straight yellow. It was like red, which actually looked kind of like disgusting. It was like a mixture of like red and yellow. It looked like pus or something, just like throw up mixed with blood. It was so disgusting. And seeing this guy at the very end of the fight, Doppio or Diavolo, like crawling away, barely alive, like no oxygen in his body. This fight was so cool. Now Doppio, I remember going over his drip in my last video, and he's okay looking. He looks okay, you know. But seeing Diavolo talk back and forth with Doppio is not only funny because like he's like and picks up the phone and like or whatever, like picks up a random thing like a cigarette or like a busted phone or something. That is really cool, but really funny as well. The execution for how they did it was really cool. I thought it was really cool, like seeing, like sometimes Diavolo would focus on like if he knows something is gonna happen, like oh, a leg's gonna get chopped off, and he knows that's gonna happen. Maybe Diavolo would think like, hey, let's try and Diavolo would try and minimize the damage. Like he would accept it, but try and like this is gonna happen no matter what. So I'm gonna just like try and minimize as much as I can from that what's gonna happen. Now sometimes like he's like no, sometimes Doppio's like okay, that's gonna happen no matter what, so I'm just gonna rip the scissors out of my throat, like. But sometimes Doppio tries to like find another way around things, and seeing them resolve, like they obviously have to come to some type of conclusion, obviously, you know, like with Doppio would try to find some way around things, like with the foot English class, I know, like oh, what I want you to analyze and really think, but like I thought that was really cool doing it with this fight. Like in this particular fight, it was cool, you know, because you like it's not impossible to guess. Like it's not just like out there, just like why if he really had that power, why would he do that? Like when Dio like kept putting Polnareff at the bottom of the stairs, like why would he do that? Like I don't know why he did that, but this like it makes sense. Like you can infer, and there you can like it's a solid chance that you can actually guess what powers they got or what's gonna happen. And the power that Diavolo gives to Doppio is also really interesting because it's like he's seeing destiny and its inevitability, and seeing Doppio and Diavolo converse about preparing for it or trying to get around it. So Doppio trying to cut corners, you know, watching them discover the method behind all the crazy shit and madness that Risotto was causing, and them trying to exploit Risotto's weakness is really dope. And seeing Risotto, because Risotto's not just like with his thumb up his booty, you know, he's definitely trying to figure out what that nigga is doing. So when he sees like, you know, obviously Doppio is like, has a rock in his hand or a frog or something, and he's just, boss, 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 you know, like him seeing that, he's not just gonna be like, okay, like he's definitely gonna try and deduce what's happening as well. And I like seeing Risotto actually try and think, and when he did see this, he was definitely more cautious. But just because Risotto was the only one who was cautious, I don't think that just Doppio wasn't caught, because I can tell Doppio was pretty scared. Even Diavolo was pretty scared. Like, they were both pretty terrified. Now, we don't know about Risotto's backstory, and I personally think that's a good thing about that. I think it's a great thing. It's kind of like, it's like if they made a sequel to the Joker movie. I wouldn't mind it, to be honest. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, this ruins the first movie. But I feel like it's just better as a single movie, just like how not knowing Risotto's backstory is good, because one, he's a mafioso, you know, he's in the Hitman crew, whatever they're called. He's in that crew. So I think it was good because it just makes us think about how did Risotto get to become the leader of this thing? How did he get into the mafia? It just makes me think about how and theorize what he did to get there, and how did he end up in that situation. It keeps me thinking and guessing and wondering, what the hell did Risotto do to get there? Which I think is pretty good. Like, it's kind of like endings to like a comic or something. Like at the end of the Killing Joke comic, which is a good example, where Batman starts laughing and then he puts his arms around Joker, but we don't necessarily know. Like, some people think like he just laughed and was like whatever, put his hand on his shoulders. Some people think he is laughing because Batman was gone crazy, and just because Joker literally just told him, hey, you know, I'm not gonna stop, it's too late for me to change. And people think that Batman just murdered him and strangled him. You know, I think it's good sometimes to not give the audience a straightforward answer. I think it's a good thing sometimes. Like, I'm not saying all the time. Like, I guess like it's not as like satisfying, or like, what's the word? It's not. I guess it doesn't give you as much closure. That's what the word is. Closure. It doesn't. Sure, it may not give you the closure, or like, hey, like I really wanted to know, but I think that's part of it. You know, I think that maybe that's the purpose, or maybe Araki was just a little lazy. But either way, it turned out really great to me personally, and seeing how Risotto and Doppio slowly figure out each other's powers and strategies and how to beat them in the fight is amazing. It is so awesome, man. It's like JoJo fights are like, bleh, you know, like some of them are great, some of them are just like, okay, you know, whatever. But like this fight, I think you definitely can. You gotta turn on the other brain cells that you haven't been using. You gotta use them in this fight, even though, you know, it's whatever. I think this fight really does that well. Seeing them kind of like outplay them is really dope, and constantly getting out of crazy situations, especially the ending. Like when I thought Doppio was like, what the fuck, man, Diavolo, come on, man, and then guy like somehow like, yeah, I'm not breathing, so Aerosmith, whatever his Narancha's stand name thing, like shot him or whatever. He can't see me on the radar, so he just shot you. And then when Risotto tried, Diavolo used King Crimson to just wipe out the time, or like erase that part in time. So the bullets just lit him up. And not only was that ending pretty cool to me, even though some people may go, oh, it's kind of a cop-out. Yeah, like a little bit. Like, I don't know if, you know, you never know, because like maybe Risotto could have won, or maybe if the other people weren't involved, you know, Brutaliti's gang wasn't involved, maybe Diavolo would have just brought out King Crimson and just waxed him. You know, I don't know. Like, that's also a great point. That truly, like, this fight I think could have went either way. You know, because I don't know if Diavolo would use King Crimson. Like, I don't know. You know, and at the very end, Diavolo gave Risotto respect because he deserved it, to be honest. He really did deserve it. I feel like they both had a mutual respect. Like, even Risotto, like, he knew he was gonna die. Like, he was basically accepting his death. He just wanted to see his face. And then he pulled out the, you know, the trap card. But it missed, but he still went out with, you know, honor. Like, apparently to Diavolo, that was honorable. But they both had respect for each other because this was both were really good at what they did. You know, they killed people. They were really good, and it was awesome to see this fight play out. And I feel like not too many people talk about this fight. I know I say that. I feel like I say that all the time. Like, not too many people talk about it. Like, yeah, I say that a lot. But I feel like this one I feel like nobody even cares about Risotto. I don't see too many people like talking about him, at least with the friends I watch. You know, like with the Derby, I saw a lot of people were like, oh yeah, a lot of people love Elder Derby. But I was just talking about my friends, you know, the ones that watch JoJo. They usually like younger Derby except for one. And Risotto, never see anybody talk about him, truly. I feel like nobody talks about Risotto. And I think he deserves a lot of more respect, especially this fight. Just let me know what you guys think, to be honest. Because I really do love reading your comments. I do. So, that's going to be it for this video.